Hello and welcome. I'm really delighted that you've joined me today to explore one of the most fascinating aspects of human experience, the invisible currents that shape our lives. My name is Vienda. I am a women's personal growth educator. I also run a training called the Mentor Training, where I teach people how to become mentors and leaders in their communities. I also have a very popular newsletter called Her Way Club on Substack, and I'm on Instagram as Her Way Club as well. So there's a few places where you can find me. I'm sure the links are floating about around somewhere. I'm really looking forward to taking you through this workshop with me. Today, what you will need are a pen or a pencil and some paper or a notebook and an open heart and a curious mind and the willingness to allow yourself to be taken on a little journey with me. Relax, trust me, I promise this is going to be helpful and easy and fun. That's what we're here for, right? If you need to get some materials or more comfortable, or you need a drink, now is a really good time to pause and get what you need to feel really present and settled. Okay. If you have ever wondered why on some days you feel like you effortlessly make good, healthy, positive choices, and then on others you find yourself drawn to behaviors that, let's say, you later regret, it's not, your best self, or why certain spaces make you feel really productive and clear-headed while others leave you feeling distracted and drained, then you're in the right place. Today we are diving into the concept of choice architecture and invisible currents, the hidden environmental forces that guide our decisions without our conscious awareness, essentially. We'll be investigating that profound tension, one of my favorite topics, between destiny and free will, examining just how much of our future we can consciously design. This exploration sits at the heart of what I call the holistic mind, body, soul journey, an understanding of how our physical environments, our mental patterns, and then a deeper soul purpose interact to create our life trajectories. And I want to just pause here for a moment and speak to this soul purpose piece. So my perspective and understanding is that, I'm getting very intimate with this cute little poem here. My understanding and perspective is that every human being's unique individual soul purpose is to be the fullest expression of the deepest parts of themselves. So the closer you can live to the nexus of your soul, the closer you are to living out your purpose. I don't think your purpose is necessarily a big external factor, but rather how you can be the most distilled expression of who you are at your core. Yes, that's what I want to kind of add. And that changes and evolves, and that's what's really exciting and interesting. Like, the relationship we have with ourselves is ever evolving. We're getting to know ourselves over and over and over again through seasons and changes and transformations. And what remains the same is that soul essence, which is more like a feeling of what it feels like to be ourselves than anything else. And I really want to speak to that because we're talking about, what motivates you and what moves the needle forward for you in life. And when you allow the motivating factor to be intrinsic, internal, I have a psychology background, so we call it the internal and external locus of control. When you allow yourself to be driven by an internal locus of control, as opposed to external factors that are shifting and that are completely out of control, then you will live a much more harmonious and fluid life, because you're not being jolted by external factors all the time. You're instead living in fluid harmony of what exists within you. I'm going to try and put that into a more practical format as we move through our workshop today. I'll do my best. So imagine for a moment that you're a fish. You're a fish swimming through the ocean. Did you guys watch Nemo? Did you watch Nemo when you were little? Or like not that little? I did. And I will never forget, I think it's Dory, and she's like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I mean, we all know this piece, right? I feel like that is my life philosophy. Just keep swimming. Anyway, okay, imagine that you're a fish. You're a fish swimming in the ocean. Maybe you look like Dory, maybe you look like Nemo, whatever fish you'd like to be. Maybe you're a dolphin, who is actually a mammal. So distracted today. Okay, as a fish, let's come back into the ocean. As a fish, are you aware of the water? Probably not. It's so omnipresent that it becomes invisible. And yet, as a fish, this water determines where you go, how you move, and ultimately your entire existence. So our environments function in exactly the same way. We are fish living in this physical world, and the physical spaces we inhabit, the digital landscapes we navigate, and the social circles that we participate in, these create invisible currents that guide our choices and behaviors without our conscious awareness. So I want to do a little exercise with you. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe with me. Take a few relaxing inhales and exhales. Really settle into this with me. Bring your attention to the subtle ways in which the room or the space that you're in right now is influencing you. So notice the temperature. Is it making you more alert or more relaxed? My temperature is a bit cold. It means I'm a little bit more tense than I would like to be, because my body's trying to keep me warm. So that's affecting how I feel. What about the way you're sitting or where you're sitting? How is where you're sitting affecting your experience right now? Are you comfortable? Are you surrounded by people? Do you have headphones on? How is where you're sitting impacting the way you feel in yourself and in your body right now? Are you able to relax? Okay, lighting. How is the lighting impacting your mood? For me, right now I'm sitting in front of a window in my apartment in Portugal. I have 10 days left here, not even, like a week actually, and then I'm flying to London for a few days and then New York to join my partner. And it's been grey today after a few days of beautiful sunshine that I was really enjoying after a much too long cold winter. It's super grey, and I can hear the wind whistling past, and I notice how this weather, I like rain. Rain is a beautiful thing, but when it's continuous and ongoing for very long periods of time, it definitely affects the way I feel. And so I feel a little bit quieter, a little more internal, a little more a little less social, a little less willing to leave the house. That's affecting me. How is where you're at affecting you? And then finally, last question. I hope you still have your eyes closed as I've been chatting away to you here. The proximity of others. How is the proximity of others shaping your comfort level right now? How do you feel? Now, I'd like you to open your eyes up again and then get a piece of paper or a notebook, whatever you have at hand now, and just write down what's come up for you. As you've noticed your environment, any thoughts, it doesn't have to make sense. I want you to just write a few stream of consciousness sentences or dot points, bullet points, whatever works best for you, whatever feels good for you. Just take note of how your environment is affecting you. It's simple, but it's actually crucial. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. I'm here. And if you'd like to pause. Okay, maybe you need more time. That's okay, take the time you need. This simple exercise reveals something profound. Our environments are constantly speaking to us. They're nudging us towards certain behaviors and away from others. And the first step in reclaiming our agency is simply becoming aware of these invisible currents. Very simple. Everything around me is affecting me. It's affecting my choices, affecting the way I feel, affecting the way that I respond. It's good to know. It's good to notice. Okay. I want to talk about the 3 layers of choice architecture. What that means is that our choices are shaped by currents operating at 3 distinct layers. The first one, which we just kind of explored together a little bit, is our physical environment. So the spaces we inhabit, objects within reach, visual cues in our surroundings. So for me, physical environment is really important. I'm very sensitive, and I imagine anyone who's in the rewilding retreat tends towards sensitivity. So I'm going to assume that you're very similar to me. I'm very sensitive to my environment and to environmental cues. And I intentionally and objectively make choices to put myself in environments that feel good to me. And that means they are peaceful, they are aesthetically pleasing, they're calm. You know, there's something I'm always looking for. It can't be overly curated in a superficial way, like when it feels synthetic, when it feels made up or doesn't have intentionality and integrity. I feel that. I really feel that, and I'm going to assume you do as well. So that's the first current, or the first layer of our choice architecture, our physical environment. The second one, really important one, something that I think we're all becoming more and more aware of, is our digital environment. So how our technology around us is impacting us. And so those are things like notifications and alerts, algorithms, curating what we see, big one, and default settings on our devices. How are we allowing our devices to impact us? I have a lot of boundaries for my own mental health and well-being around technology and my digital environment. I don't have any notifications on except for Messenger, so like my loved ones can reach me, and phone calls obviously. Everything else is off. It has been for years and years and years. I also minimize how many apps I have on my phone. I have time locks on apps. I delete social media apps regularly because they're just not good for my health. And I'm also very aware of the fact that algorithms do, like, we end up living in a bubble, and there's a beauty to that. So like, I think in life in general, there's like just a magical sociological algorithm that happens. Like, we attract people like us. I can imagine that all of you in the rewilding retreat have some similarities or crossovers in the kinds of people that you are. Like does attract like, and so there's a natural algorithm occurring in our lives and in our worlds already, which is very beautiful. I think it's quite magical and special. However, on social media, that becomes what's the word I'm looking for? Accentuated. And then this incredible echo chamber occurs where all you're seeing is the same stuff, and it feels like that's the only thing that exists in the world, and we need to broaden our perspective. I remember there are so many different dimensions occurring concurrently. That's a word, right? Concurrently. English is my second language, so sometimes I have, I try my best. To give you a little background, I'm half Austrian, half Italian, and I have spent a lot of time in the UK, hence my accent, but I'm still learning vocabulary, clearly. Okay, off track again, let's get back on track. Third channel, third layer of our choice architecture is, and this is a really important one. I mean, they're all important in different ways, but I just think this is huge. The third one is social environment. So that is the people we spend time with. And this is really beautiful. Like here in the Real Wilding Retreat, you get to put yourself in a social environment full of really amazing, beautiful people who want to do good in the world. And I think that is just such an incredible opportunity to place yourself amongst people who are doing good and wanting good for each other and the world. So I love that we're talking about this right now. The people we spend time with, cultural norms and expectations, and relationship dynamics. Okay. Something that I think about and consciously curate in my own life is the people I invest my time in. I feel like in the grand scheme of things, our biggest wealth, our biggest resource is our time and our attention. And so it's really important to be so intentional with where we put our time and attention. And that definitely includes the people where we spend time with. And something that I work with is something I call expanders. So people who expand my perspective and frame of mind and understanding of what's possible in the world. I want to feel more free. I want to feel more abundant. I want to feel more open-hearted. I want to feel more generous. I want to feel like I'm doing more good in the world. And so I want to surround myself with people who expand all these different parts of me by allowing them to model it for me. See someone who has a really beautiful romantic relationship. Because I want a really beautiful romantic relationship, I have a very beautiful romantic relationship. But relationships are a place where I think we can all continue to learn. And so when that's modeled for me, I'm like, this is how you do it. And or this is one way that you can do it. Or if I see someone who's really good at managing their wealth, then they're expanding my own ability and capability and understanding of how to manage my wealth. Or creativity, like there's so many, areas of life that we care about that we can choose to put ourselves around expanders or people that expand our perception of what's possible, and that's social environment. Okay, so taking those three distinct layers into account, remember physical environment, digital environment, social environment, let's do some current mapping. Take out another piece of paper or turn the page in your notebook if that's what you're using, and choose one decision you make regularly that you'd like to improve in your life. So maybe it is, let's make it easy, eating habits or drinking more water, or maybe it's productivity, like getting more stuff done in a certain amount of time so that you can focus on the things that nourish you and fill up your cup, so you're not procrastinating on the things that don't matter that much. I actually think procrastination is a beautiful thing. I think procrastination is part of the creative process. However, having said that, I also think that sometimes we waste a lot of time resisting doing what needs to be done when we could actually just be relaxing into the procrastination creativity. So how can we be more productive in the areas that matter, so we have more space and time in the areas that are meaningful to us? Or another one could be communication. Like, how am I communicating? This is something I want to improve, or something I want to work on with my friends, my partner, my family, whatever it is. Okay, so choose one thing that you want to improve, one area in your life, and then map out how each of the three layers may be affecting your choices. So I'm going to keep it easy just because that's easy for me. Let's say that you want to improve your eating habits, whatever that means for you. How is your physical environment impacting your eating habits? Are you around people who eat what you consider to be healthy, or are you not? I have one of my best friends lives in Mallorca, and she's from LA, but her partner is Spanish, and traditionally Spanish people eat a lot of meat, a lot of potatoes, a lot of bread, not a lot of what she would consider nutrient-dense foods with lots of fruits and vegetables and things like that. And so she's in an environment where her eating habits are being impacted in a way that she wants to change. It doesn't align with her own personal values. And so, she's having to work quite hard to make the changes she wants to make for herself while being in a physical environment that gears her towards a different way of being. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And then digital environment, for example, are you being bombarded with advertisements for foods or ways of eating or snacking that are not healthful for you or don't align with your own beliefs around health and well-being and eating well? And social environment. So who you spend, this is like physical environment, social environment is kind of linked here. I think I kind of mixed them up. But I mean, another way to look at physical environment is like what's in your cupboard, what's available to you. I did mix it up, my apologies. What's available to you, like what's in your fridge, what's in your cupboard, what is at hand, and can you change that? So can you put snacks that you find healthful around you so that when you're reaching for foods, it's there, as opposed to the things that you would prefer not to? And then social environment is the people and how it influences, like what are the people around you eating? Does it match the way that you want to eat? How can you make different choices? So, giving you those examples, I want you to circle the strongest current you've identified. So the physical environment or digital environment or social environment that affects or impacts the one decision that you want to improve the most. It is the strongest impact on you. And I'm going to give you some time to work on this. I'm right here again. And if you need more time, feel free to pause. Okay, I'm going to continue, but as I said, if you need more time to map it out, take it, and then you can press play again. So this mapping process reveals something crucial. What we often attribute to willpower or personal failure is actually the result of powerful environmental forces. Understanding this is not about making excuses. No, don't worry. But it is about accurately diagnosing the true influences on our behavior so we can make meaningful and lasting changes. I also want to introduce you to the concept that when we make any kind of changes, contraction always precedes expansion, which means that often it feels or looks like we're taking some steps back or we're stuck in something before we move forward. And so essentially, one of the most fascinating patterns in human development is that periods of contraction, which is limitation, constraint, difficulty, often precedes our greatest expansions, our greatest changes, our greatest breakthroughs. And this applies directly to our choice environments. When we first become aware of the invisible currents shaping our choices, it can feel constraining or even disturbing. We might think, have I been on autopilot my entire life? This is a moment of contraction. This uncomfortable awareness is actually a precursor to expanded freedom. By temporarily constraining our focus to examine these invisible influences, we paradoxically expand our capacity for true choice. This pattern of contraction preceding expansion appears throughout nature. The muscle must contract before exerting force. The seed that exists in the darkness before sprouting, or the arrow that's pulled back before launching forward. Hi. I want to help you identify contractions. Okay. Pen, pencil, paper, notebook, whatever it is that you're using. It's cold in here and I have a wet nose like a dog. I want you to write about one area of your life where you're currently experiencing constraint or limitation. Have you got it? Okay, now in your writing, explore how this contraction might be preparing you for expansion. What new awareness or capability might be developing through the contraction? Contraction and expansion occurs in big and small forms in our lives over and over and over again. I personally have been going through an enormous period of contraction where so many things in my life changed. My living environment, my relationship, my work, all of the sort of foundational aspects of my life shifted in really big ways. And I was going through this, I also call it sometimes like the dark magic, when you're in this space of where it feels like nothing's moving forward and things are just crashing down around you, and you feel like you don't have a lot of control over what's happening. But ultimately, the deliverance of this period of time, the dark magic, is taking you to an entirely new existence, and way of experiencing the world, and also environment. That's definitely what's been happening for me. I'm not there yet. I'm still in it. I'm still in the contraction period, but I'm starting to see where the expansion is coming. And that's really exciting because it's been a tough little start of 2025 for me. I felt very held and supported, but the ins and outs of life, not my favorite if I could choose. So that's contraction. I hope you've had a chance to write down your own experiences, and I hope my little stories help you as you do that. Okay, let's redesign your currents. This is the empowering part. Once we're aware of these invisible currents, we can deliberately redesign them. This is where we engage the tension between destiny and free will. We may not control all circumstances. I definitely have had to surrender so much this year. I mean, all the time. It's just an ongoing lesson, isn't it? But we can architect choice environments that make our desired behaviors more likely. So let's do a current redesign. Go back to the worksheet and the decision you mapped earlier. So the example I gave was healthy eating. Whatever it was for you, look at that. And for each layer, physical, digital, and social, identify one specific change that you could make to redirect the current. Now, really important, these changes should be small and concrete and implementable within the next 24 hours. Like, I want to set you up for success. I want you to set yourself up for success. So small, concrete, that means like really pragmatic, something you actually do in the next 24 hours. We're not trying to fight the current, we're trying to redirect it with more intention and awareness. So some examples, maybe if we're talking about more healthful behaviors, for example, placing healthy snacks at eye level in your refrigerator would be a physical redirection of the current. Or a digital redirection could be changing notification settings on your most distracting apps. Or a social redirection could be scheduling time with someone who embodies behaviors you want to develop. Like, who do you admire in your environment, in your group or circle of friends? Like, who's someone that you want to emulate their success, their wellness, their relationship, their wealth, their centeredness, their spirituality, their natural beauty, whatever it is. Find someone that you want to be expanded by and grow from, and intentionally ask them to spend time with you. That sounded really creepy when I just said that. I didn't mean it. Like, hang out with them, be friends. Okay. Great. Hopefully you've got some very practical, pragmatic next steps written down and decided upon. If not, pause, do the work, continue the exercises, and then I will continue. So agency is about conscious current setting. What I mean is that this brings us to a profound realization about human agency, which is that true freedom doesn't mean existing without influences. That is impossible, as we know. Rather, it means consciously choosing which currents we allow to shape us. The most powerful form of agency is not fighting against the currents. There's no point, we know that. But deliberately selecting and designing the ones that will carry us towards our deepest values and aspirations. This requires regular awareness practices to notice the invisible. What's happening around me? Like, pay attention. How is my world affecting me? How is the invisible impacting my choices? The second is through thoughtful architecture of our environments. What am I choosing to put myself into or around? And periodic assessments of our goals as we evolve. What is it that I want? What is it that I don't want? How can I redirect my currents to align with those desires? This understanding transforms the tension between destiny and free will. We recognize that while we're always influenced by currents, our family, our background, our relationships, our working environments, and so on, we have the capacity to redirect them to co-create our future through thoughtful environmental design. Okay, I want to leave you with just a couple of final questions to ponder in the notebook or afterwards, whenever it feels good. For me, sometimes I go through a workshop or I listen to something, I learn something, and it takes a few hours or even days for it to simmer and to settle into my body until I can come up with my own conclusion. So allow yourself to take the time you need to process and bring forth what is coming up for you or what is meaningful for you. Okay. Enough distraction. Final questions. What is one invisible current you've become aware of today that you hadn't noticed before? I'd really love to hear what's come up in your awareness. Like, that's so interesting for me, so please share. And how might redirecting that current change your life trajectory? Write those down. I'll give you a moment. Or pause. It's always good. All right. If you need more time, take it, but I want to kind of wrap this up so I didn't take up too much of your time and leave you with this thought, which is the most profound changes in our lives don't come from heroic, forceful willpower or dramatic decisions. They come from subtle shifts in our environments that redirect the currents carrying us forward. Your homework is very simple but powerful. Choose one current to redirect this week. Make the specific change you identified in our redesign exercise. Notice how this shift affects your choices and experiences. And then share your observations either in the Facebook group or under the Invisible Currents Challenge post. However this works, I don't know how they've set it up. And just remember that this work exists in the intersection of mind, body, and soul. By becoming aware of these invisible currents and consciously redesigning them, you're not just changing behaviors, you're engaging in the profound work of conscious life design. Thank you so much for your participation, for being here today. I'm so excited to continue this journey together as we master the hidden forces that shape our lives. And I'd love to connect with you. Come find me. Let's chat. Let's get to know each other and enjoy the rest of your day.